Hello, this is Mark here at Gary's Guitars in Portsmouth, New Hampshire, and I'm here to talk about tuners and tuning for a couple of reasons. One is it's my pet peeve as a performer, and I'll get into that in a bit. But also, I recently made a video about the Snark tuner and how they're using USB micro as their rechargeable connector, and then they give you a cable with a micro on one end and a USB O2 on the other, and you have to find somewhere to plug it into, and a lot of computers now don't have the O2 connectors. So it was just it was a mislaunch of their new tuner. Maybe they'll clear up these things in the future, but the Snark had been such a ubiquitous tuner, it became like the word for a tuner to some people. So here's some comments on some of the comments in the comments. One was, it was great. Someone was like, is this a vape from 10 years ago? Why USB micro? That's crazy. That was funny. One comment was about, oh, well, just use your phone. When your tuner goes dead, just use your phone. So why even have a tuner if it can go dead at any moment? But also, yeah, your phone works as a tuner. You download a good app, like from Peterson or something like that, which is a company that's been making tuners for 50 years. And your $900 phone can do the same thing your $20 guitar tuner does. Tell me more about how your $900 thing is better than your $20 thing. So yes, but for me, I don't like to bring a phone on stage or interact with it while I'm on stage. It's another pet peeve when people read lyrics off a phone on stage. It really, because looking at a phone really it's a closed circle. It just brings you into this thing. And if you have a pedal tuner or you have a clip-on tuner, it's less of a I'm looking at my phone moment. But I know people who use their phone on stage to tune, and that's fine. But now some places you go to these venues and they're like, okay, take out your phone and download this app, and you got to control your own monitor mix or something like that. That's been known to happen. But I don't have anything against anyone who uses their phone as their tuner. So, other clip-on tuners work all right too. Pedal tuners, as I alluded to before, if I'm plugged into something, I like to use the pedal tuner. I was taught a lesson one night that I'll never forget. I was on stage with a loud band. I was a little out of tune. And during a solo, I had to touch up my tuning, and I just lost track. And the tuner was just going nuts because the band was loud, and I had to mime the rest of the song. I had to I couldn't even turn my guitar back up. It was just so badly out of tune on that first song after that solo. And so it was just a moment of shame for me that I will not let happen again. So I don't like to trust the clip-on tuner, although I use them a lot live too when I have an acoustic instrument that's not plugged in. Or I'm playing a gig where I don't bring a board, like a bass gig. So, there are other clip-on tuners that work well as a Snark. I talked about that in the Snark video. Let's get on to my pet peeve. I was talking about as a performer. So as a performer, I don't like to use the phone on stage. It's a very personal thing, and you're trying to reach the crowd, and you're not trying. You take out your phone. Someone taking out their phone just triggers this idea of they're not interested in you. So here we have a nice Harmony Silvertone, and this is here's my biggest pet peeve. Someone will hear some picks here. They'll turn on their Snark tuner or their pedal tuner, and they'll do this. They'll start rapidly wailing on the note with a pick. Don't do that. When you hit a note, especially with a pick, it goes sharp for a couple seconds. Because you hit it goes a little sharp and then settles into that point. I usually use my fingers when I'm tuning because it's less likely to cause that little sharp moment. But if you do that and then you continuously wail on the note over and over, the tuner just doesn't know what to do. And then just wiggle your knob up and down. It's like if you're trying to trick your tuner into not working. So if you remember one thing, remember this. So why do people do that? Because it's kind of out of habit, because someone showed you to do it like that. Because when tuners had crappier microphones, they didn't hear as well. When there were no clip-on tuners, you just had to have it really close to you, and then if you wailed on the note continuously, the tuner could kind of hear what you were doing. Those days are over. So let's not do that. There's no net benefit to doing that. So hit the note, let it ring, and tune to the sustaining note. Now let's talk about tuning machines and ways that guitars go in and out of tune. While you're tuning, if you hear a creaking noise coming from up here, it's because your nut's too tight and it's binding, and your tuning is going to get unreliable. You can go through and tune the guitar, and you find, like, at the end of a song, halfway through a song, the whole guitar is out of tune because you bound your nut was binding. You put too much pressure on this side, and eventually it crossed over and went sharp. So be wary of that. But tuning machines, these old tuners, and the reason I chose the Silvertone to demonstrate this on, when dealing with old tuners, it's different than newer tuners, but the advice is the same all around. Go below the note you want to go to, and tighten up to the note. And if you go past the note, go down again and come back up to it. That makes sure your pressure is even, and you're less likely to bind in the nut. Because if you go sharp and then go back off, it's not necessarily going to back off all the way right away unless you wail on it with a pick, I guess. So always tune up to the note. This is the opposite of what piano tuners do, which is they tune down to the note. And when I was learning piano tuning many years ago, I was told that that's how you know that, like, that's how you, like, sink it right in. So you go up and you come back down and you kind of, like, you push it down. So they're doing the same thing, and a pin is just a pin in a hole. It's not a mechanical thing. It doesn't, because oftentimes, and the other reason on older guitars, where the tuner isn't as precise, when you're tightening up, you get a better grip than when you're loosening. There's a little bit of precision you might lose in that loosening. So do not. So go up to the note. Do not rapidly hit the note while you're tuning. Doesn't help anybody. Use your phone if you want. If you want to look like you're uninterested. No, just kidding. I have good friends who use their phone to tune. It's all right. Use a clip-on tuner, but be wary. If you're in a loud room, they can get confused. A good plug-in tuner is the way to go, I think, whenever possible, because you have that direct connection. And the thing that you spend $100 on is usually made better than the thing you spent $20 on, and no matter who's making the product. So let's wrap it up there. That's today's talk about tuners. Thanks for watching. There's a lot more. So a few things I should have did this at the beginning of the video. Like and subscribe and all that. I have a lot of watchers, not a lot of subscribers in comparison, which is fine. You're welcome to watch and not subscribe. But if you'd like to, subscribe. Also go over to Instagram and Facebook and interact with us there if you could. That would be great. Watch all the hundreds of other videos I've made here on this channel. And thanks again for watching, and we'll talk to you soon.